Hello and welcome. Today we're going to start our talk about characters and settings. And so we're going to start that by talking about characters. So when we talk about the characters in our story, we often talk about our characters' traits. That's this word up here, traits. A trait means what are they like? So what do we know about the characters? And most importantly, what has the author shown us about the characters? Just like we've been looking for signposts, we can find that authors drop hints to help us see what the characters are like. Instead of just telling us about the characters, the author will often show us about the characters. Now, a character can have external traits. That means what's going on the outside. Examples of external, with that EX meaning on the outside, we can talk about their age. Are they young? Are they old? Are they a teenager? We can talk about their size. Is this person average sized? Are they bigger than normal, smaller than normal? We can talk about their race, their gender, their physical limitations, their hair, their eyes, their clothes, anything that you could just see by looking at that person. Sometimes those really play into why a story is important and what the author wants us to know about that character. Sometimes the author will just tell you. Sometimes they'll just say, Tommy was 5 years old. But sometimes the author drops hints and you have to figure it out. So sometimes if you read, let's see, what's a good example? Let's say if you read the BFG with your teacher in the past, you might have noticed that the author was describing the great big giants, and the author wanted you to figure out how gross they are. Or the author was describing the BFG, and he wanted you to see how different the BFG was than the other giants. So sometimes an author will just tell you about a character, and sometimes they'll describe it. You have to figure it out. Another thing that your character might have are internal traits. These are the ones that are usually the really important ones. Internal means on the inside. An internal trait might be their personality, their behavior, their feelings. It's who they really are on the inside. So we're going to talk this week about 3 different strategies for understanding characters. We have words and actions, we have relationships, and then we have patterns. These are 3 different ways for looking at the characters. Today, we're going to focus on words and actions. Words and actions show what's really important to them. So when we're thinking about a character, we can think about what does this character say? Does the character say nice things? Does the character say rude things? Does the character talk a lot about certain subjects? How does the character talk? What are the things they say? And I want to remind you, words can also be things that the character says in their head. Words don't have to be said out loud. Right now we're reading Hatchet, and Brian doesn't really have anyone to talk to. So a lot of his words are words he says to himself in his head. We're also going to look at a character's actions. What somebody does shows what's really important to them, whether it's who they help, how they react to people, what they choose to spend their time with. These words and actions show us what's really important to characters, and they show us who they really are. The signpost words and actions are especially important. So if you're reading and you notice a character's words and there are signposts in their words, that's a really good hint that that's important. Same with their actions. If their actions are a contrast or a contradiction to what you expect, or maybe their actions are an again and again, that's a good clue that those are really important.